What's going on, guys? It's Islanders Daily here, back with your daily Islanders news, home of the four-time Stanley Cup champions. And for today's episode, we're going to be talking about some visa troubles. Bridgeport out, Thomas Poletin going number 1 overall in the CHL import draft, and an Anders Lee outlook for the season. So, to get things started, we're going to be talking about some visa troubles that Maxim Shabanov is going through. So, if you guys don't know, Maxim Shabanov was just signed by the Islanders this offseason to a 1-year entry-level deal contract, coming over from the KHL, leaving his team there where he played for the Tractor on the KHL, where in 63 games last year, he had 67 points, 23 goals, and 44 assists, and he's a silky hands kind of player. He can make the moves, he can do the dances, he is a beast, Shabanov, when it comes to those open ice dekes and moves. However, he is a small skater, Shabanov. He's very small. So it's going to be exciting to see him in the NHL, but right now he's going through some visa troubles. He's unable to get on Long Island right now, so it's really just a waiting game. So he's just training and playing in Russia still at this moment. But right now, the Islanders expect him to be there, be ready for the preseason, which is coming up, so soon. It's crazy how much time flies. It feels like the season just ended yesterday. We won the first overall pick in the draft lottery, and here we are. So yes, Shabanov is going through some visa troubles, but he will be back on the team very quickly. So, transitioning from that, going to be talking about Bridgeport Islanders could be no more. It's a very strong possibility that the Bridgeport Islanders will be gone. We know that Hamilton in Ontario, Canada, they just put into a $300 million renovation to their stadium, the TD Coliseum, where they're hoping to get an AHL team, and insider Frank Cervalli said that it's most likely going to be the Bridgeport Islanders. And I know some people are going to be upset about that, and it is tough, especially if you live in the area, having your team leave. But the attendance was putrid for Bridgeport. They were just absolutely horrible. Had one of the worst home records, they had the worst home record of all time in the AHL. And it just makes sense. And I know some people are going to say, oh, why don't they go play at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island right next to the Islanders? And the Islanders will never do that because they don't want to have to compete against themselves for ticket prices, right? So if the Bridgeport Islanders move to Nassau Coliseum, it's going to become competing. Oh, do you want to go play for the Islander, or do you want to go watch the Islanders game, or do you want to go watch the AHL team? And the Islanders don't want to have that problem, because most of the time people are going to take the $15 tickets over the, $90 tickets. So they don't want to compete with themselves. And if they go to Hamilton, you can get kind of like a Hershey Bears type thing, where Hershey, that's their team. It's the Bears. They're able to attract people, get more money, and be a big brand. They're their own brand, the Hershey Bears. Even though they're the Capitals minor league team, the Hershey Bears are really their own brand. So that's, I think, what the Islanders are hoping can happen if they move to Hamilton, where they're not really the Islanders minor league team. Yes, they are, but they're going to be Hamilton's AHL team, essentially. So I think that's the Islanders' goal, to make that their home. And honestly, I think it makes perfect sense for them to leave Bridgeport and go into a big city in Hamilton, Ontario, where the people love hockey there, and it should be good and exciting. And if they do move, I will 100% go to a game there, and who knows, maybe I'll record it for this channel eventually and just show everything that goes on. So I'm excited to see what happens there, and so we'll have to wait and see if it is the Bridgeport Islanders actually going. I'm going to put my money on that it is going to be them going to the Hamilton, Ontario. All right, next up, we have time to talk about Thomas Poletin. He was the 4th round pick from the New York Islanders in 2025, 106th overall, and he was taken number 1 in the Canadian Hockey League import draft to the Kelowna Rockets. So that's big. The Islanders had the worst prospect pool just last year, and now they're slowly raising up, and they're really building a thing. And especially when you have a player who's taken number 1 in the CHL import draft, and Thomas Poletin, I'm excited to see how he performs there. It's a, step. He's leaving the Czech Republic, or Czechia, to go play for now in the OHL. So I'm excited. I'll definitely keep track of Poletin. I don't really follow the CHL that much. I'm more so following college hockey. but doesn't make a difference. I'm excited to see how Poletin does in Kelowna. And yeah, we'll see. But number 1 in the CHL import draft, that's a huge honor. And congratulations to Poletin. And hopefully the Islanders got a steal there in the 4th round. And finally, our final topic of the day, we'll be talking about Anders Lee's season projection / outlook. What can we expect for Anders Lee? Now, Anders Lee actually, I think, had a really strong season last year and a horrible season for the Islanders. Where in 82 games, he had 29 goals, 25 assists, 454 points. That is a solid season from the captain at 34 years old. You can't ask anything more now. This is Anders Lee's final year in his 7-year contract that he signed. And I don't know if they will re-sign Anders Lee. I think they most likely will, and I think they'll want to keep him, but it's going to be on Lee to try and take a hometown discount and not push that price up. Because right now, Anders Lee's not worth more than $2.5 million. And I think Anders Lee, being the guy he is, would take a $2.5 deal. Oh, man, I don't know who would take that. He would take a $2.5 million deal to stay on the Islanders for probably 2 years and eventually end his career there. So let's talk about the season that we can hope for Anders Lee now. Anders Lee hasn't scored more than 30 goals since 2017-18 when he scored 40 goals in that season, and what a fun season that was, seeing Anders Lee score those 40 goals. But, he's played pretty much every game for the last 3 years. He missed one 2 years ago. But Anders Lee, his last 3 years, his point total was 50, 37, and 54. So definitely kind of in the same area, except that 137-point year, which was just really bad, kind of. I don't know why he had such a bad year, but he definitely got back to the Anders Lee we know and can expect. And for Anders Lee this year, I don't think he'll hit over 30 goals. I just think he'll come up short. However, if everybody stays healthy, who knows? He can maybe reach that 30-goal marker for the first time since 17-18. But I think we'll see more so a 25 to 28-goal season for Anders Lee, and I'm assuming probably around 20 assists. So we're going to kind of get the same season from Anders Lee. I'd be happy with a 45-point season from the captain. But after putting up 54 points, I don't know. And with people healthy, we're going to flip a coin here. And I think Anders Lee is going to put up 62 points this year for the Islanders. That's right. 62 points, Anders Lee will go over under 62 and a half. So we'll see. I think he's putting up 62 points for the New York Islanders. And he will score 30 goals this year. That's right. I know a lot of people are probably thinking that's not happening, but I'm a big Anders Lee believer in the final year of his contract. I think he wants to prove something. He is the captain of the New York Islanders. He's going to go out there. He's going to work his butt off, and he's going to put up solid stats. So I'm very excited to see how Anders Lee performs this year. And, this is something we're going to do for each episode now. We're going to do a player projection outlook for the whole until the regular season starts. So it should be fun. So thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. I wish you all a great rest of your day. And as always, let's go Islanders.